Russia's T-90 tank was once hailed as the best in the world. A fearsome combination of firepower, advanced armor, and cutting-edge technology. It was supposed to dominate the battlefield, embodying Russia's military might. But on the front lines in Ukraine, the T-90 has been anything but invincible. Instead of crushing its enemies, this once vaunted tank has become a symbol of Russia's military failures. The turning point came when a viral video captured a moment that shocked military analysts and the world. An American-made M2 Bradley, far less powerful on paper, outmaneuvered and disabled a T-90 in close combat. The Bradley's relentless barrage forced the T-90's crew to abandon their tank, exposing the vulnerabilities of what was supposed to be an unstoppable machine. This failure has rippled through Russia's war strategy, as the loss of these tanks hits hard, both on the battlefield and at home. Even more alarming for Russia is the fact that they are running out of these advanced tanks, unable to replace them fast enough. Meanwhile, Ukraine has found an unlikely hero in the Bradley. Originally designed as an infantry fighting vehicle, it has proven to be a game-changer against Russian armor, providing a powerful counterpunch to the T-90 and an unexpected hope in a blistering conflict that keeps evolving dramatically by the day. When the T-90 tank was introduced in the early 1990s, it was hailed as the pinnacle of Russian armored warfare, a modern marvel that would redefine tank combat. Built as a successor to the T-72 and T-80, the T-90 combined the best elements of its predecessors while overcoming their shortcomings. It was intended to be faster, more powerful, and better protected, with a suite of advanced features that would make it the envy of militaries around the world. The T-90's firepower is outstanding. It boasts a 125mm 2-46M smoothbore gun capable of firing a variety of rounds, from high-explosive fragmentation to armor-piercing sabot. Additionally, it is equipped with the 9M119 reflex anti-tank guided missile system, which can engage enemy armor at ranges of up to 13,000 feet, allowing it to strike before being struck. Defensive measures include the Shtora-1 active protection system, designed to disrupt incoming missiles and prevent the tank from being locked onto by laser-guided weapons. The combination of explosive reactive armor and conventional composite armor further enhances its survivability on the battlefield. Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly lauded the T-90, once declaring it, quote, "the best tank in the world without any exaggeration." This confidence wasn't unfounded. T-90 seemed virtually unstoppable on paper, a tank designed to dominate any battlefield it rolled onto. Its specifications were meant to ensure that Russia would always have a technological edge in armored warfare, with the T-90 serving as the spearhead of its ground forces. However, the realities of combat in Ukraine have painted a starkly different picture. Despite its advanced design and the fanfare surrounding it, the T-90 has proven vulnerable in ways that have shocked both Russian commanders and international observers. According to Oryx, an open-source intelligence platform, over 100 T-90 tanks have been lost in Ukraine, with the actual number likely much higher. These losses have highlighted significant flaws in the tank's design and deployment. The M2 Bradley vehicle that has repeatedly outperformed expectations in this ongoing conflict. Initially developed in response to the need for a more capable and protected vehicle than the M113 armored personnel carrier, the M2 Bradley was designed to deliver infantry into battle while providing significant firepower and protection. Its first prototypes emerged in 1978, and by 1981, the M2 Bradley was officially adopted by the U.S. Army, marking the beginning of a legacy that would extend into the 21st century. The Bradley's key features have always set it apart. Armed with a 25mm 242 Bushmaster chain gun capable of firing 200 rounds per minute, the Bradley also carries a TOW anti-tank missile system, providing it with the ability to engage and destroy enemy armor at ranges of up to 4,000 meters. Its advanced optics, including thermal imaging and laser rangefinders, ensure that it can operate effectively in all weather conditions and at any time of day. These systems give the Bradley the ability to detect and engage targets with precision while on the move, a critical advantage in the fast-paced dynamics of modern warfare. The Bradley's superior cross-country mobility is another of its standout features. Powered by a 600 horsepower engine, It can traverse difficult terrain at speeds of up to 66 kilometers per hour, enabling it to keep pace with main battle tanks while providing infantry support. This mobility, combined with its firepower, has made the Bradley a valued asset in the Ukrainian arsenal. Ukrainian forces received approximately 190 Bradleys, specifically the M2A2 ODSSA model, one of the most advanced versions of the vehicle. This model incorporates lessons learned from conflicts such as Operation Desert Storm, featuring enhanced electronics, better armor protection, and a modern fire control system that rivals even some main battle tanks. Military analysts have described the Bradley as the most powerful infantry fighting vehicle currently in use, and its performance in Ukraine has only solidified this reputation. In the hands of well-trained Ukrainian crews, the Bradley has repeatedly proven its worth against Russian forces, including in engagements against the much-vaunted T-90 tank. Its combination of firepower, protection, and mobility has allowed it to punch far above its weight, turning it into an unexpected hero of the conflict. In the chaos of the Ukraine war, reports of the surprising results of the battle between what Putin calls the best tank in the world and the Bradley infantry fighting vehicle have spread like wildfire. According to Ukraine, American-made MM-2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles have found themselves in a face-off against one of Russia's most formidable war machines, the T-90 tank. The accounts of these encounters are both unexpected and electrifying. In one of them, a Bradley, a vehicle not even designed to be a direct tank killer, engages the T-90 at point-blank range. The T-90, with its imposing stature and heavily armored exterior, should have had the upper hand. Yet the Bradley crew unleashed a relentless barrage of 25mm high-explosive rounds from the Bradley's Bushmaster chain gun, targeting the T-90's optics and vulnerable external systems. The rounds, though smaller in caliber compared to the T-90's main gun, are fired with precision, eventually crippling the Russian tank's advanced systems. The T-90, now effectively blinded and unable to return accurate fire, becomes a sitting duck. Its turret, damaged by the continuous hits, begins to spin uncontrollably. With its systems compromised and the crew disoriented, the T-90 crashes into a tree. Realizing their dire situation, the Russian crew abandons the tank, leaving behind what was once considered one of the most advanced battle tanks in the world. Goliath encounter highlights the Bradley's surprising capabilities and exposes the T-90's critical vulnerabilities. Military analysts quickly pointed out that the engagement demonstrated how effective tactics and a well-trained crew could overcome even the most daunting technological advantages. Accounts such as these have demonstrated Ukraine's resilience and ingenuity, showing that even a seemingly underpowered vehicle like the Bradley can outmaneuver and defeat a tank as fearsome as the T-90 with the right strategy and tools. In the grinding conflict between Ukraine and Russia, one of the most significant factors tipping the scales in Ukraine's favor has been its ability to leverage modern technology and adapt quickly to the evolving battlefield. Unlike the Russian military, which has often relied on sheer numbers and traditional tactics, Ukrainian forces have embraced tactical innovation, utilizing advanced tools and unconventional strategies to outmaneuver their more heavily equipped adversaries. The deployment of the M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle is a prime example of this adaptability. While the Bradley itself is a powerful machine, its effectiveness in Ukraine has been amplified by how Ukrainian forces have integrated it into their broader tactical framework. Ukrainian soldiers have employed the Bradley as a transport or fire support vehicle, and a versatile platform, capable of taking on even the most heavily armored Russian tanks. But the Bradley is just one part of a larger picture. Ukrainian forces have also made extensive use of unmanned aerial vehicles, which provide real-time intelligence, target acquisition, and even direct engagement capabilities. These drones have been instrumental in identifying and striking Russian armor from above, where traditional tank defenses are weakest. Another key weapon in Ukraine's arsenal is the next-generation light anti-tank weapon, or NLAW. This portable shoulder-fired missile system has proven highly effective against Russian tanks, including the T-90. The NLAW's top attack capability makes it particularly lethal, which allows it to strike tanks from above, bypassing their thick frontal armor. This tactic has repeatedly caught Russian forces off guard, as their tanks were primarily designed to withstand frontal assaults. not vertical strikes. The success of these technologies is not just due to the equipment itself, but also to the rapid and effective training of Ukrainian troops. Soldiers have been quick to learn and adapt to these new tools, often combining them in creative ways to maximize their impact on the battlefield. This stands in stark contrast to the Russian approach, which has frequently involved throwing large numbers of poorly trained troops and outdated equipment into the fight, often with disastrous results. Military experts have noted that Ukraine's ability to innovate tactically has been one of the defining features of the conflict. By leveraging advanced technology and thinking outside the box, Ukrainian forces have been able to punch well above their weight, turning the tide in battles that, on paper, they should have lost. The repeated failures of the T-90 tanks in Ukraine have sent shockwaves through Russia's military strategy, forcing a re-evaluation of its armored warfare doctrine. Initially introduced as the cornerstone of Russia's modernized ground forces, the T-90 was expected to dominate the battlefield and secure Russia's position as a global military power. Instead, its losses have highlighted critical weaknesses in both Russian military technology and logistics. The sheer number of T-90 tanks lost, over 100 confirmed by open-source intelligence, with the true figure likely much higher, has dealt a severe blow to Russian military morale. Each loss is a stark reminder of the T-90's vulnerabilities, particularly its inability to withstand modern anti-tank weapons and innovative tactics employed by Ukrainian forces. The psychological impact on Russian troops, who were trained to believe in the invincibility of their equipment, cannot be underestimated. Strategically, these losses have forced Russia to pivot away from its reliance on the T-90 and its variants. With production rates of new T-90Ms failing to meet the demands of the ongoing conflict, current estimates suggest fewer than 100 units are being produced annually. Russia has been compelled to pull older Soviet-era tanks like the T-62 and T-80 out of storage. These older models, while still functional, are significantly less capable than their modern counterparts, lacking advanced defensive systems and firepower. This reliance on outdated equipment has further eroded Russia's effectiveness on the battlefield, as these tanks are far more vulnerable to the advanced weaponry and tactics deployed by Ukrainian forces. The production challenges extend beyond just the T-90. Russia's attempts to bring its next-generation T-14 Armata into the conflict have been stymied by even greater logistical hurdles. Production of the T-14 has been slow and costly, with estimates suggesting that fewer than 50 units are produced annually. As a result, the T-14 has seen limited deployment, and its potential impact on the battlefield remains largely theoretical. Military experts have pointed out that the failures of the T-90, coupled with the slow production of new tanks, have forced Russia into a defensive posture. Rather than being able to rely on technological superiority, Russian forces are increasingly forced to compensate with sheer numbers, often at great human and material cost. This shift not only weakens Russia's strategic position in Ukraine, but also exposes long-term vulnerabilities in its military-industrial complex. In essence, the T-90's underperformance in Ukraine has not only shattered its reputation, but also revealed systemic issues within the Russian military. The ripple effects of these failures are likely to influence Russian military doctrine and procurement strategies for years to come as the country grapples with the realities of modern warfare.